with young people. Is this a big reason why you're pushing for that?
We've long had a policy to enhance measures for democracy, and I would hope that all elected representatives want to be accountable to the very people who are going to bear the brunt of the political decisions we make today. I would hope that no matter what party you come from, that you would feel responsible and accountable for this group to have their say.
So this is part of Golriz Gutterman's Strengthening Democracy Members Bill. What's the process from here with that?
Working, and she already has been working very closely with ministers across government and continuing to build what that bill looks like, but we'll continue to work with everybody across Parliament because this does need support from all elected representatives.
And what is that support like? Have you had conversations with other parties about what they make of this idea?
We've had various discussions, and we think that there's good support from the people, from young people and from New Zealanders as well, to be able to keep having these discussions. We'll keep working at it.
Okay, thank you so much, Marama Davidson, Green Party co-leader. Although I'm not sure that you're necessarily right with that if our feedback is anything to go by. I don't think the majority of people, at least within our breakfast viewers, agree with the decision to lower the voting age.
Yeah, some people are saying it should be raised even to 21. Some people are saying 16-year-olds are easily manipulated, brainwashed, easily convinced if something is good or bad. And people saying, we pay our rates, we're the ones that should be having a say in who represents us as well.
Yeah. Casey says 16-year-olds are easily manipulated, brainwashed, and easily convinced if something is good and bad. Adam says, I don't want a whole lot of Gretas running around telling us the world is finishing and we must vote for some barefooted candidate who drinks his own urine and lives in a tree.
I think probably less cynically than that, Dylan says, why put the stresses of the world on our kids' shoulders so much sooner? School is enough stress, but as we've seen already, that they're taking that responsibility upon themselves, aren't they? Because they're frustrated.
They are
with adults.
They are. Hayley has been striking with them this morning. What do you think, Hayley?
Oh, well, you know what I think, and the people who aren't interested in hearing the views of young people are the people who are completely invested in the status quo, people who are living through fear and hate change, but change is coming, if you like it or not. We just need to try and make it a nicer change than it could possibly be, and it's the kids who are at school who are learning what is happening now in the world. They're way more up to date on what's going on than most of us. We're behind, even us in the media, I hate to say it. I feel like we're behind the 8 ball, so of course they should be voting. What do you think about people who say to you that 16-year-olds are easily manipulated and get their brain washed?
I think... Actually, I might have to pass this question on to Maya. I think she can answer it better than I can.
Well, I think that's just completely untrue. I mean, if you look at the strikes, there's thousands and thousands of 16-year-olds walking and marching down the streets when their schools have threatened them with detentions, when their parents have told them that they can't go, when the government, when no one is listening to them, they continue to strike. So, what does that say?
Yeah, we're trying to brainwash them to say don't strike, but what I'm saying is say no to Mars. I don't want to be a Martian. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Hey, let us know what you think. Head to our Breakfast Facebook page, Breakfast on One, or email us breakfast@tvnz.co.nz. We'd love to hear from more young people as well. What do you think? Should the voting age be lowered to 16? And we'll see if we can get Hayley back in the hot seat at some point. Coming up, it's another busy weekend at the Rugby World Cup in Japan. Next, we'll tell you which games demand your attention.
How about all these reasons to hang with us tonight? MasterChef's Matt is beyond impressed.
Incredible, isn't it? I love it.
9 out of 10, good call.
And then here and ready to party.
It's the boys' last roadie.
We're cooking for the head of the Clan Ramsey.
Hope they're up to the task. Meanwhile, we're heading to the street, catching up on all the latest gossip. How does that sound to you?
Top of the line Mitsubishi Pajero Sport VRX is now only $49,990 on run out. You'll get smartphone connectivity, leather interior, and multi-around view monitor, adaptive cruise control, and forward collision mitigation. Titan, the best four-wheel drive system, impressive towing, 8-speed auto, 7 seats, and 10-year powertrain warranty. But at $49,990 plus on-roads, don't miss it. Drive your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.
Windowwear now makes it possible for you to save money while saving the environment. Micron Wood Venetian blinds are made from recycled material, so you'll help the environment while making your home look great. And for a limited time, you'll also get 20% off the normal price. With light and privacy control, they're perfect for all areas of your home, including bathrooms. Visit windowwear.co.nz or call now to find your nearest Windowwear retail partner.
So, who'll start the bidding? Do I hear?
$805,720.
And 53 cents.
Are you ready to settle on a new home? With OneRoof, you'll find all the information you need. Be property prepared with OneRoof.
There's more to this little van than meets the eye. Mr. Humphreys is showing us how to keep our home warm and dry. When our home got too cold, he went blue in the face. And when it got too humid, his horns pointed up into outer space. But now his horns are curled, and his face is brown. I know we're in the healthiest home in town. See how Mr. Humphreys and ANZ are helping Kiwis live in warmer, drier homes.
Well, we met online, actually, and we've been together for 3 years now, which is nice. It did take some getting used to, but they've really won me over. They're always first up and last to bed. It's not your typical relationship, but it works for us. Look, he's perfect. In the past, I've been guilty of taking things for granted, but not now. I think they're the one.
Rush into Spotlight for our spring deals. 30 to 40% off all block-out, ready-to-hang curtains and roller blinds. All ready-to-hang Venetian blinds, half price. Plus all shaggy rugs, half price. Rush into Spotlight now.
I've got my health and my confidence back with the OptiFast program. So now I have the energy to do more of what I love. I lost most of my weight by replacing 3 meals a day on the program, which induces ketosis, a fast weight loss. But you can replace 2 or 1 meals a day for more gradual weight loss. It's your choice. So discover how to lose weight in a way that works for you. Personalise your program today and be sure to check with your healthcare professional if it's right for you.
I've been waxing.
Care about your car? You'll love 30% off all car care and 30% off tools and garage equipment. This weekend only. Repco. It starts with the parts.
It sounds like a minor problem. Something I'm scorched in a concrete cellar.
Your jobs aren't worth your lives. It's gonna be alright, Lois. We just have to be brave.
Sunday Theatre presents Ablaze. Sunday, 8:30 on One.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
Welcome back to breakfast. The Rugby World Cup is already a week old, but don't worry, there's still so much rugby to be played. So what conclusions can we jump to after 12 games? Here again to offer his insights is former All Black Ian Jones. Morena.
Morena, Matty.
You're welcome. I'm pleased you have the insights. I'm far from a rugby expert, but I enjoy getting amongst the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, but you also like life, man. You like sport, and that's what we're kind of seeing over in Japan at the moment. You know, Japanese being great hosts. The venues being banging. You know, look fantastic out there. The attraction of the rugby, of course, what's bringing people there. But it's the emotion of sport. And you don't have to be a rugby follower to like emotion of a world tournament. That's what we're kind of seeing at the moment, and that's why I think the hype of this Rugby World Cup is kind of living up to it, and it'll ramp up again. These are just those early pool stages that you mentioned, week 1. They'll just keep going.
Yeah, it is early pool stages, but what do we think of the games so far? Have they been exciting ones to watch?
They have. It's a high level, of course, what you'd expect at this tournament, right? Emotional with the Uruguayans the other day. You know how amazing was that? It was so good. And, look, sport just brings out the best in some people, in some countries, doesn't it? And a lot of people thought, okay, Fiji's a team that could upset someone at this tournament. We didn't think it'd be on the flip side. Them the ones being upset, but the Fijians sort of took on the chin and said, Uruguay were kind of so passionate about it. And I think that's what I love about sport, all sport. Rugby's clearly my sport, and that's what we're following at the moment, and that's what we're talking about. But that was good. That was at a very high level, and that's kind of the way the tournament is structured. And it's hard, Matt, in these pool stages, where you have the kind of the dominant teams like the Welsh and the South Africans and the All Blacks and the English kind of dominating their pools. But that's, it's very important in my opinion that these other teams like Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, Uruguay are at this tournament to lift their level.
And it's amazing. I said when the morning after the Uruguayan game that as All Black fans and supporters, we kind of maybe get a little bit complacent about what it means to win a big game like that.
Yeah, absolutely correct. You're spot on there. So we all soak that up, don't we? We all remind ourselves why we love the game of rugby union, why we love these guys out there doing what they're doing, and it makes me warm inside to see that too, and even more passionate about the All Blacks doing well.
Italy thrashed Canada last night 48-7. They're both going to go up against New Zealand in the pool play. What do we make of those?
Well, very, very, very good for the Italians for a start. Captain last night by a Kiwi guy, actually, Dean Budd. So he's a former Whangarei man who's played for Northland. But very good for Italy, and the fact, Matty, they are now one tick and what would have been one of their goals, they automatically qualify for the next Rugby World Cup, right? I know they're up against two, pretty big sizes, South Africa and New Zealand, so realistically they're probably not going to go through, but there's Dean Budd there just scoring a try, the skipper, so that's good for them. Canadians in this world stage is going to be tough. They play the All Blacks next Wednesday, and the All Blacks are pretty canny. They'll be kind of doing a lot of work behind the scenes, so I don't think you'll see too much from the All Blacks from those games up until maybe now on target with England winning last night to take them in the semis.
And then this weekend, big weekend, Australia play Wales, which will determine who's probably top of Pool D.
That is the number one game this coming weekend, Matt. So, so some of us, I love Warren Gatlin, I love the way their style they play. Some of us going that way, others think Australia at these big tournaments can get up. It's a toss of the coin, but if I had to pick one, I'd go the Welsh.
Anyone else to watch out for this weekend?
No, not really. I mean, that is the number one main game, of course. But it's nice to be able to watch all the games, maybe at this tournament, not just the All Blacks. Because if you watch all the games, say the Uruguay, Fiji, and the other Fire Nations, you get a good feel and grasp of the tournament and what it means to people to play on this world stage. So the All Blacks are our number one team, and a lot of eyes will be on the All Blacks and how they progress through the pool stages. But these other teams make up the tournament as well.
They got a bit of downtime at the moment, a bit of R&R.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Have you ever had a Beppu sand bath?
No, but I've often lying on the beach of the beaches of Northland and sort of had the sand shine over me. Is that similar?
Who knows?
When you travelled the world as an All Black, did you ever have some interesting cultural experiences like that?
Not to that extent, I have to say. I think I've had some mud baths before, which was good. But it takes a lot of sand to cover this body.
It's good though, right? You can. It's nice to see the All Blacks getting amongst it and enjoying the culture there.
Just very, very quickly, one quick thing is you cannot, and I know we love it and talk about rugby, you cannot think it 24/7. So these All Blacks are very, very switched on, so that balance, switch on, switch off, and we're on track.
Ian Jones, thank you so much. I think, well,
Hi guys.
You're back.
Yes.
Oh, nice of you to join us.
Yes.
Strike's over, is it?
Well, I was just watching Maddie do that rugby interview.
And you thought, come save me?
You were very good. Very, very good, actually.
Oh,
I think you felt threatened by Maddie's performance and you thought, I need to come back in and
that's
stand
more
by
true, actually. But the thing I was more
You ever find
surprised...
anyone's being passionate about something, and that's what you are.
Yeah, I am.
So that covers
Thank
so
you
many
much.
things.
Appreciate it, Ian.
I was more surprised at how you guys look similar height.
We've leveled the cheers to you. Hey, well, it's nice to have you back.
Okay, making news this morning, tens of thousands of people are expected to skip school and work today to take part in a strike for climate action. More on that at 7:30.
Also ahead, how dog whistle politics all began way before the internet and interferences. We take a look at 80 years of wooing Kiwi voters.
Tonight, it's all about ginger. To win this immunity,
I'm gonna have to pull out all stops.
they can't be ginger about it.
There's lots of ginger in there as well.
Yep, lots of ginger.
A unmistakably all about ginger. MasterChef Australia, tonight 7:30 on One.
At Specsavers, get standard progressive lenses for free when you buy one style from the $169 range.
I've heard some people were surprised to learn that I've been living Atkins for years. This is Atkins, and there are millions of us living it and loving it. Because today's Atkins isn't just, I'll have a couple of bacon cheeseburgers, hold the buns. It's fresh food, delicious stuff. You make it home, food that's rich and healthy protein, and you keep the carbs low, you watch out for the sugar. And if you're in a rush, Atkins bars and shakes. No memberships, no meetings, no fees. Just a life of eating well and feeling great. Welcome to Atkins today.
It's Odoring's 90th birthday and you get the presents like these half-price savings. 30% off elite tomatoes and sassy daisies and 20% off loads of products store-wide. Ask us anything at Odoring's. See the world your way on an Avalon River cruise with experiences that are adventurous, unexpected, unhindered, unlike any other. Visit your travel agent or avalonwaterways.co.nz today.
More action, more emotion, more fun. Get more sport into your life with 12 dedicated sport channels and more content than ever before. Your first month of Sky Starter and Sky Sport is on us, and you join now on a 12-month contract. Plus, we'll give you 3 months My Sky too. No need to go upstairs for this one. Call us or go online to join Sky Sport today.
Who said that an EV had to look like an EV? Had to take the paved road, and never the hard road. Who said that an EV couldn't take the weight, or power through when things get tough? No one we should listen to, right? The all-new, all-electric Audi e-tron. Electric has gone Audi.
Rushing the spotlight for our spring deals. All Coo and Cooley duvet cover sets half price. All towels, buy one, get one free. VIP save over 50% off Dreamaway Ultimate Loft Bedding. Exclusions apply. Rushing the spotlight now.
Good to be home, mate. Love home. That's why we build our homes using all the good stuff from right here, supporting Kiwi products and people. At A1 Homes, we're proud to be 100% New Zealand owned. And keeping it Kiwi. Like our mate, Scott McLaughlin, another proud Kiwi, taking on the big boys. To see the real benefits of keeping it Kiwi, visit a1homes.co.nz.
I didn't think rugby was a sport for women.
Something was not right about these delicate, blushing girls playing rugby.
Well, not only are we playing it, we're playing it well.
The story of rugby concludes Saturday on One.
Today's breakfast brew is bright and warming with natural ginger. Dilmar's pure Ceylon green tea with ginger is always delicious.
Good morning, New Zealand. Enjoy breakfast with a fresh cuppa by Dilmar. Do trade.
The Green Party is calling for the age of voting to be lowered to 16. It's one of the new priorities for electoral reform in Golriz Garman's Strengthening Democracy Bill. Party co-leader Marama Davidson says young people want their voices heard.
They're a different crowd who are inspiring and informed and aware, and there are adults who aren't informed, but we don't want to take the vote off them. So I say, this is why we say, let's engage them even more and enhance our overall democratic system.
Tens of thousands of people are expected to skip school and work today to take part in a strike for climate action. Auckland organisers told Haley it's about standing up for their future.
This is the most urgent matter in the entire world. We will be dying if we don't do anything, and nothing is just not an option at this point.
Senior White House officials tried to keep President Donald Trump's phone call with his Ukrainian counterpart secret, according to new leaks. Here's US correspondent Rebecca Wright with the details.
Senior White House officials apparently, according to the whistleblower, began locking down all records of this phone call, including a word-for-word transcript, which apparently they moved into a classified record system so that it wouldn't be widely circulated and it wouldn't ultimately become publicly available.
British MPs are demanding an apology from their Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. It comes after he said the best way to honour Joe Cox, the murdered MP murdered during the EU referendum campaign, was to get Brexit done. He's also faced backlash for his use of confrontational language in Parliament about opponents of his Brexit plan. Tensions have been high since MPs returned to Parliament following a Supreme Court decision that the suspension of Parliament was unlawful. 130 firefighters are tackling a large blaze at a French chemical plant in Normandy. Schools and nurseries in 13 nearby towns are closed and police are urging people to limit their movements. Although authorities say there's no indication of serious toxins in the air, residents of the city found an oily residue on the streets. No one's been reported injured at this stage. To sport, and Israel Folau's hopes of returning to rugby league through the Tongan national team have been dashed by international officials. The Pacific Islands national board's now been suspended in what's expected to have far-reaching consequences. With more, we cross to our sports producer, Victor Waters. Victor.
Morning, Chris. During a phone hookup last night, the International Rugby League Board voted to cancel Tonga's registration. It comes after the Tongan board announced Israel Folau's return to International Rugby League without the clearance of international officials. Now, there is good news, though, for Tongan fans. The decision will likely see Tonga's NRL stars drop a recent boycott, and they will likely return alongside recently sacked coach Christian Wolf, along with a new board. The situation had become so toxic between players and the board that the Tongan Prime Minister even had to get involved in this issue. The Tongan players were unhappy with a lack of funding for grassroots rugby league in Tonga and the sacking of coach Wolf.
That's Victor Waters from our Auckland newsroom. Thanks, Victor. Italy thrashed Canada's move top of Pool B ahead of the All Blacks in the World Cup. The Italians bulldozed past the North Americans to seal a 48-7 win in Fukuoka last night. Later, England trounced the United States in Kobe, the Americans not doing themselves any favours when they were reduced to 14 men after this red card. Ouch. The 2003 champions running away with a 45-7 win.
We'll have a short break and then we'll focus on Argentina. Yeah, we understand they're going to be playing for their life, and they're a passionate, proud rugby country. So what's going to be important is that we match their passion.
Meanwhile, the All Blacks have managed to get in some much-needed R&R during their stay in Beppu. Players taking a traditional sand bath where they were covered in hot volcanic ash. The team doing their best to charge the batteries ahead of Wednesday's clash with Canada. And finally, how's this for a slap on the wrist? Barcelona's been fined just $520 by the Spanish Football Federation after breaking transfer rules in their pursuit of Antoine Griezmann. The French forward moved to Barcelona from rivals Atletico Madrid in July for $208 million after the Spanish champions exercised his release clause, but officials confirmed Griezmann negotiated with Barcelona while still under contract with Atletico and without their permission. Very naughty. Yeah, the All Blacks ready to erupt on Wednesday against Canada after some of that volcanic sand.
Very good. Very good. How much would they need to erupt against Canada, or
highly unlikely they'd need to do too much, would they?
You'd think so, but
well, Italy beat them 48-7.
Wow, Maddie. Look at you, sporty spice.
Thank you.
Here's best friend to the Ian Jones.
Yeah.
That would explain
We
it.
got on
Weren't you?
really well.
Yeah. You did, eh?
Yeah.
I think you guys should catch up afterwards and talk some rugby.
Do you know the funny thing? I think from my high school experience, I've always felt like maybe I won't have much in common with people that play rugby, but actually some of the most awesome conversations I've had in this job have been with rugby players.
Usually the adults have gotten over their childhood bully boy sort of attitudes, haven't they? You'd hope.
They're really lovely, fun guys to chat to. Ian was fantastic.
You guys should get coffee later.
Maybe we will.
Speaking of coffee, hey?
Is it actually coming? But I didn't have enough time to wait for it, but it is coming.
You're too busy striking.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have you back in the studio.
And drawing, did you like my art?
I loved it.
No.
I loved it.
I didn't do very well at art.
I'll give you a
Thank you.
I'll give you a 1.
That's pretty good, really, considering.
I brought these school cards in because we've got Jordan here doing weather this week for the first time.
We turn those into placards, actually.
Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
One planet, that's all we've got.
Oh, that's a good one. I like
So
that.
let's save it.
Go for it.
Yeah, my first weather bulletin. Thanks to the support team.
You're welcome.
Expecting 10s again. 10 from you this time, Maddie.
We'll
7 was a bit rough.
We'll see.
We'll see. Let's crack into your weather, shall we? There was a blustery night across most of the country, but that wind watch around the Hawke's Bay area has ended, and some good news, conditions will be slowly improving over the course of today. Like it is here, Southland and Otago will see 1 or 2 morning showers and a bit of cloud, but once that clears, you'll have a fine afternoon. 18 degrees in Oamaru, 13th in Invercargill. A chance of a few showers for Westport, Hokitika and Greymouth. Those will ease into the afternoon. Nelson, though, you're looking at a fine day with a high of 16, 11 in Milford Sound, 14s for the rest. A bit of a frosty start shifting east, but once the sun's up, you're in for a fine day. Winds developing in the afternoon, 14 the high for Kaikoura, 16s and 17s everywhere else. There's cloud cover from the get-go in the lower north, chance of morning showers and nor'westerlies. Those winds will die out in Wellington, though, for a fine afternoon. 16 the high in Whanganui, 13 Pumps North and Levin, 15, sorry. It's a mixed bag as we move east. A fine start for Gisborne and Napier, but cloud and a chance of shower in Masterton and Dannevirke, 19 degrees in Napier, 18 for Hastings. You're looking at fine spells with the odd shower in the Bay of Plenty, with westerlies across most of the day. 17 the high for Tauranga, 13 for Taupō. And a drizzly day in the upper north, showers until the afternoon. Fine spells in store for Paihia and Kaitaia, 16 the high in Hamilton and Whitianga. Checking out your weekend ahead, today we'll see cloudy periods and showers gradually clearing across most of the North Island. Fine with high clouds in Nelson, Marlborough and Canterbury. Sunday isn't so flash, sadly. Rain for most, easing to showers later. And that's your weather.
Tell you what, the amount of feedback coming in about voting and also on the climate strike, but amongst them all a gem, because remember the news that we had a little bit earlier about the United Airlines flight that had to get diverted because someone got locked in the toilet? Well, some feedback from Sheena. Good morning to you all. Just thought I would share an experience I had in a plane when I was flying from England to the Isle of Jersey at age 21 years. I also got locked into the toilet of the plane and the staff had to take the hinges off the door to release me. The embarrassing part was when I finally emerged, all the passengers on the plane cheered out loud. When I was getting off the plane, the pilot burst into laughter. It happens. It happens.
How do you get locked in the loo?
I have no idea. And you'd think, couldn't you just do something like that, take the hinges off rather than having to divert an entire
Chuck a
plane?
shoulder into the door.
Yeah, they're flimsy doors.
Yeah.
At least that was a fairly short haul flight. But that was just a bit of feedback in it, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Send us your feedback on anything, whether you've been locked in the toilet before or whatever you want to send us your feedback on. We've been hearing a lot from people about the voting age as well. Sammy says, I'm 17 myself, and to be honest, I think it should be kept at 18, but schools should teach you how to vote while you're there. When I turn 18, I'm going to have no idea how to because I've never been told.
Yeah. And so I think this is actually an argument for lowering the voting age, because it's if you lower it to 16, schools will walk the students through. They'll take them by the hand and teach them what they're doing, who they're voting for, how to do it.
Well, we've seen history made compulsory in schools. Why isn't politics?
I know, but look at how long it has taken us to get to the point where we're teaching New Zealand history. So I just worry that we'd allow 16-year-olds to vote, and then it would still take another 50 years before they were actually learning about it in schools.
There are more changes coming, so I'm hopeful to watch this space.
Okay. Well, let us know what you think. Breakfast on One is our Facebook page, or breakfast@tvnz.co.nz.
Coming up, politics, but fun politics. 80 years of wooing New Zealand voters has been crammed into one beautiful book. We'll check it out after the break.
It's the final leg of the journey.
I'm here and ready to party.
And Ramsey's coming home because we're cooking for the head of the clan Ramsey. But has he got what it takes?
How you doing?
Or will he get killed in the kitchen?
And that's why you're up.
Gordon, Gino and Fred's road trip tonight on One. Australia.
Come on. On you, mate.
Son, there's someone I want you to talk to.
Hi, mate. I'm here to help.
It's time to step in. Bank Kiwi, Bank Kiwi Bank.
Did you know not all energy is created equal? With low GI goodness for your body, fibre for a happier gut, and protein for your muscles, Up and Go provides the right type of energy so you can make the most of every day.
Lazy Boy's sensational spring sale means up to 30% off a huge range of quality Lazy Boy furniture. Save $1,300 off this Euro modular, $1,200 off the leather new powered 3-seater, and more. Hurry into the Lazy Boy Furniture Gallery now.
The Resine sale is on. 25 to 30% off Resine premium paints and wood stains. 30% off wallpaper. 25% off decorating accessories. Save big with Resine.
It's a game of patience for our cheesemakers, Joe and Maury. But when the cheese needs checking here at Mainland, it needs checking. It's the